All right, guys, welcome back. The Dolphins are up and at it. They are working hard right now. Saw some good footage of Ryan about the football team as a whole. As the OTAs go on, I just can't wait for. I believe it's about 2 weeks from now, June 12th. Man, to be excited about. Now the Miami Dolphins, the schedule was released quite some time ago, but after looking at the schedule, I'm really, really, really excited. It looks like there's a lot of games that we should win. One thing every year when we go into the season, I'll automatically say if we're going to be that team that we're happy about, we have to automatically sweep the series with the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, guys. Those two teams, if we're going to be the elite team that we want to be, every year we have to make sure that we get those 4 guaranteed wins. Getting those 4 guaranteed wins is going to make us look really good with our record as an overall. New England, we have to, at the end of the day, I do not like the New England Patriots, but we have to respect the New England Patriots. I love the fact that the Miami Dolphins, even in our down years, we give the New England Patriots a pretty hard time every single year. So I'm not counting both games as a victory, but we love to go in. And once again, if we're going to have the team that we want, we need to be able to count on us splitting that game. So the Dolphins need to come out of the AFC East with the 5-1 record. And then the other 10 games, they have to make sure they take care of business. A few things that stood out on our schedule. We start the season with the Tennessee Titans, I believe. Marcus Mariota, kind of the same thing as Tannehill, was hurt pretty bad. So we're going to start the season with 2 quarterbacks. We're going to find out who's actually going to look healthy, who's going to play healthy, and what they're going to be for their teams. And hopefully that is our opportunity to get this season off on the right foot. A few things that had me a little worried on our schedule. We do play the Green Bay Packers this year. That should be a really tough out. And late in the season, we also play the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we know how they looked last year. They were, it looks like they were ready to actually compete in the championship. Didn't work out that way. But at the end of the day, it's not like they lost much. So that's something that we're going to have to really, really look out for late in the season, especially if we're fighting for playoff position. But one thing that I do love is that when we do play the New England Patriots twice this year, we played the first game in New England. I love every other season when our first game is in New England. If we can go up there when the weather isn't crazy and come out with the victory, it gives us that much more of a chance at the end of the year. I believe it's about 4 games before the end of the season. They have to come down to Miami and we get to play them again. So that might work out in our favor. Who knows? I'm not going to be that optimistic to say that we'll sweep the Patriots, but that is a good setup for us to potentially make that happen. So I'm excited about that. One story that came out today that made me think twice about it. This year, it's one player that we really do need to pay attention to. It's one player that has the potential to have a really good breakout year, and that's Kenyon Drake. We know what this kid is capable of. We know what he's been doing. He's very explosive. When we needed something big time and Landry and Ajayi wasn't there to give it to us last year, Kenyon Drake stepped up quite a bit, even when those guys were in the rotation. So now he may have a huge opportunity to step up, get more carries at that running back position. We know that we brought in a veteran, Frank Gore, who is 35 now. He's going to be, I think it's a given that he's going to be the starter, but we cannot look forward to having him as the primary back, a 3-down back, just pounding the ball every single time. He's going to share that backfield with Kenyon Drake, and this is an opportunity for Gore to go in and punish the defense like he's capable of, and Kenyon Drake to come in and give us some explosiveness and some breakthrough runs that can really mean a huge difference for the Miami Dolphins. Now, this does go back to show you you can tell the Dolphins actually had a plan whenever they released Jay Ajayi early in the season. I think the Dolphins automatically realized, the season wasn't turning out the way it needed to, and we did not look playoff bound. So they went ahead and got rid of Jay Ajayi and got whatever asset they could for him at the moment. And they knew that they had a young up-and-coming star in Kenyon Drake. especially if our offensive line is doing what they need to do, then we know that whoever we put back there should have some success. But thankful that the Dolphins have a running back in Kenyon Drake that not only is he going to have success, but his athleticism and his skill level can bring that over the top and make him a Pro Bowl type player. But once again, that always hinges on our offensive line. And we know how that's gone for the last 6+ years. So that's yet to be seen. And a lot of people would say, hey, our team goes as Tannehill goes. I like to think our team goes as the offensive line goes because Tannehill can't even get off if they don't take care of business. But Kenyon Drake, look for him this year. Keep your eyes open. This might be a huge year to where we, at the end of the season, we all might be looking up and saying Adam Gase and Tannenbaum got it right. See, right now we may be questioning. We may have some questions about why did we get rid of Landry? Why did we get rid of Jay Ajayi? And I know, hey, if anybody can be critical, I'm a true Dolphins fan, so I'll be critical of other Dolphin fans. At the end of the day, a lot of people are giving Adam Gase and Tannenbaum a lot of negative feedback about those moves that they made in the offseason and releasing Jay Ajayi, trading them off, and Jarvis Landry because they were the face of the franchise. But I'm the type of person that would always say we need to let time play it out and see who actually won that end of the deal. And what I mean by that is let's let the season go by. If Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore come out and become a 1-2 punch that leads the league, then, hey, there's no question that the coach and the general manager, they got it right. If this receiving core, if Tannehill's able to spread the ball out and not have to worry about certain receivers complaining about not getting enough touches, and it's successful, then we know that our coach and our general manager made a great decision. So I'm going to push the pause button on criticizing any of those moves until after the season. Unless it's a straight train wreck by the middle of the season, I'm going to wait until after the season to see how this actually turns out. Now, the future is bright for the Dolphins. The future is very bright. Me bringing up Kenyon Drake, he's a young player. That's what we need. That's the winning formula I continue to talk about. Get these players in the draft while you have them on draft-friendly contracts. Sign them to little to no money in NFL terms, $1 million or less. Sign them to the rookie contracts, unless you're a first or second rounder, you'll get a little more. But save the money. Put that money on your line. Put that money on your defense. But find your players in the draft. That's what the Patriots have been doing for quite some time. They have not, relied on the superstar player. So look at our first round pick. I'm very excited about the safety. We have if not the top safety in the draft on our team right now. So we have to see how that turns out. So we have a great safety and a veteran safety. You can't lose in that situation. You have some veteran leadership in a Pro Bowler, and then you have a rookie who is arguably the best defensive player in the draft from the secondary coming out. So I'm very excited about our secondary because everybody that's been watching Dolphin games, all Dolphin fan knows we've been getting ripped apart in the secondary for the last 10+ years. As long as I remember, even if we have a great season, we always watch those games where the Patriots just rip us apart. 5 yards, 7 yards, 12 yards, 17 yards, 8 yards, 13 yards, all the way down the field. Even if we stop them, they still get a field goal. It's almost like we cannot keep anyone out of field goal range or out of the end zone because of the secondary, and especially the linebacker core, which we have a lot to talk about in regards to the linebackers. I'm waiting to see what the coaches say. And how things are looking right now in OTAs with the linebackers, get a feel of what they're talking about, what they think, to really assess, a realistic expectation right now on how good or just how they're going to be. That is my only concern with the team. I know a lot of people may have other concerns, but when it comes to our quarterback, like I said, I'm all in on Ryan Tannehill. I am all in. That is our quarterback. That is our franchise quarterback. I do believe he is the quarterback to win us a Super Bowl one day, hopefully this year. As far as our running game, I just explained the opportunities that we have and how we have it set up. Now, the offensive line, again, we go as the offensive line goes. But and to be honest with you, the offensive line sometimes is a crapshoot. We can have an amazing offensive line, and the next year be the same players, and it's just not the same. It's one of those things where you have to look at it from a matchup standpoint, a scheme standpoint, a play calling standpoint, a situational standpoint in the game. It's so much to rely on in the offensive line, depending on what's happening. So I'm just hopeful that our offensive line is the surprise of the season, because if it is, boy, Dolphins should definitely be in the playoffs, and we should be knocking on that door to compete for a Super Bowl. As far as our tight ends, I went into the draft. I was very, very nervous because we don't have anyone. We don't have a tight end. And I'm excited that the Miami Dolphins drafted 2 young tight ends. We don't know what they're going to be. I mean, for all we know, they can end up being bums. But at the end of the day, we went for those positions with our draft picks. We went for young athletes who have been proven to do some things very well. So I'm looking forward to those guys coming in, competing, playing hard. And who knows? Who knows? We might have, the next Gronkowski on the field playing for the Miami Dolphins. We might have the next Kelsey. We might have the next Olsen. We don't know. But once again, we're following a page from, Bill Belichick's playbook, and we're going in the draft and we're getting young talent to see how it works out. And I'm all for it, because I don't believe in paying all these free agents all this big money. Give them some money, bring in some veteran leadership, but no divas, no people with personalities that can, be cancerous to the culture of the team. Because if you're a Dolphins fan, that's what we've been dealing with for the last 10 years, up and down culture issues, whether it's bullying, whether it's complaining about how the schemes are going, just a lot of stuff back and forth. And I think that we finally reached a point for our franchise where that is no more. And I like to see it that way. So I'm excited to see the new culture, what these guys are talking about, and their attitude, their demeanor, and their behavior about everything they do. And hopefully it's a championship type pedigree, demeanor about themselves. But even furthermore, going to the receiving core. Now, this is a core that I'm actually very excited about. I'm excited because we don't have any top 10 receivers on the team. Now, I know I say a lot of things that a lot of people may say, why would you be excited about that? Because like I said before, I'm a firm believer in, on a scale of 1 to 10 with the player, I'd rather have several 7.5 guys instead of 110 guy. I'd rather have several reliable receivers, especially the way with Tannehill's strengths. Tannehill can get that ball to where it needs to be and get it there accurately. And I like the opportunity of him spreading it around. And once again, not having to worry about forcing balls to certain receivers because they're complaining about how many touches they get. Same thing with the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, his rookie season. I believe Dez was even hurt some of the time. But he got to spread that ball out. Sometimes there were games where 8 receivers caught a ball. Didn't even know 8 receivers was on the field. I mean, they had them on the team. But that's the type of offense that we need, where you don't know where it's coming from, but it's coming, and it's a successful completion, and we're moving down the field. So our receiving core, we already know it's being led by Kenny Stills, who is our speed outside threat. Then, once again, just like King and Drake, Devontae Parker. We need you. This is your year. This is your year and your opportunity to come from that 7.5 up to that 9 type receiver. At least that type of jump. If you make that type of jump, you're going to the Pro Bowl. Not only are you going to the Pro Bowl, you're leading this team to the playoffs. That's going to give Tannehill unlimited threats. That's going to have Kenny Steele flying down the field. Speed threat, deep. Then you're going to have Devontae Parker on the other side. Deep threat where he can jump and grab balls out of the air. Not to mention Danny Amendola running across the middle, playing a little slot. And I do believe they're going to have Danny Amendola in the slot. That still need to see that, but I believe so. Not only that, Grant coming out of the backfield. He's going to be dangerous because a lot of times he actually played receivers for the Dolphins because he's such a good athlete. He couldn't run the ball a lot when Ajayi was running the ball. He couldn't run, so he was such a good athlete, we had to put him at receiver at times just to give him playing time. Now, you know he's a great athlete if we're changing his position just to get him on the field. And what happened when he was on the field? There were times he caught a lot of 30, 40-yard deep throws from Ryan Tannehill. So I'm very excited about that. And there's times where he might even come out of the slot. I mean, we might even see the Dolphins open it up and run a 5-man set receiver at points in the shotgun. I'm just excited about the passing game this year. Another stat that I did research because I heard it and I wanted to make sure that it was accurate, that the Dolphins have the easiest schedule in the first 11 games this year for pass defense. That means the first 11 teams that we play, their pass defense based off of last year, we have the weakest opponents. So this is a great opportunity for Ryan Tannehill to shake off any cobwebs he may have, any rust, because he's going to be going against bum secondaries. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of those teams might have adjusted, made some improvements, but I'm going off of the status quo. We know all of them didn't make the proper adjustments. Some of them might have even gotten worse. And we know in today's NFL, it's passer friendly. So this is a plus for Ryan Tannehill and our offense. So look forward to that. But our receiving core is what I'm excited about. Not only that, we also have depth in the position now. I believe we have 8 receivers on the roster. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to let 2 of them go or bring them down to the practice squad. Not sure what Adam Gase is going to do, but we'll find out as time goes, you know. And one thing, you know, we always keep our fingers crossed when it comes to that injury report during the OTAs, during the mini camps, and training camp. You know, we just hopefully, you know, I pray the Dolphins, you know, they get through all of the training and everything this year without any injuries that are going to be threatening to these players, because we want to put it together. Even when we have it together, we finally have the team we want. There's always a major injury or something that derails that. I know being a Miami Dolphin fan so long, I know we all want the Dolphins to just put it together. Put it all together. We always have something over here that we're excited about. We have something over here that we're not excited about. Or there's times we always are very optimistic and, man, I can't believe this or that just happened. So we're just hoping that this is the season where we finally put it together. I'm not talking about like these teams that, you know, hopefully we can go 8-8 or 9-7. No, I'm looking for 11-5 or better. That's what we need, because at the end of the day, we have to be critical of our team. We have to be critical of our coaching staff, and we have to be critical of our general manager. Me personally, I love what our general manager's been doing. I love what our coach has been doing. And now it feels like we have a group of players that all the egos and things, I don't think there's any of them in the locker room. I can't name any player that I could even in my head say that player even has a slight ego. And that's exciting for me. No egos on the team, people that are just training, preparing to win, and giving their all. We finally have that team. We don't have that big name player like Sua, Ajayi, Landry. And not to say they were bad guys, man. These guys were superstars. They did a lot for our franchise. But at the end of the day, we all know what it came with. So we don't have to shy away from that. We just need to recognize it so that we can be a better franchise. And I think that's what our organization is doing. They're not listening to the fans, and not in a negative way, but they're not listening to all the chatter in their ears about, you know, why do we do this? Why do we do that? I think a lot of people who don't know football just get caught up in being a fan versus actually analyzing and studying the team and what's best for the team. Sometimes you got to let your biggest asset go just to, you know, have a future. And that's what the Miami Dolphins are doing right now. And I know that the future is bright, and I'm excited about it. But on the offensive end, we're looking I think we're going to be very sharp. I think we're going to be very good. I think we're going to move that ball. I think we're going to shock a lot of people this year and be a good team. Not a team that says, hey, look at this player, look at that player, look at this player, look at that player. No, we're going to be a good, well-rounded team. We're going to be one that sneaks up. The Dolphins can go 6-0 and they won't talk about us. They'll say, hey, surprisingly, the Dolphins are starting out, and guess what every analyst are going to do on national television? They're going to say, so what? Haven't they done this before? I mean, because to be fair, the last few years, I believe we had like a 5-1 start, a 4-2 start, a 6-2 start, a lot of starts like that, and then next thing you know, we're 6-6, 5-6, and then we lose like 4 or 5 games in a row. So we and now and as Dolphin fans, we got to get behind our franchise and be there for them no matter what. But we also have to hold them accountable. So on the offensive end, I'm excited. I think we have a lot of good things going. Think we're going to be great. Defensively, the defensive line, I'm actually excited about the defensive line. I know a lot of people, hey, you lost Sue. I keep saying, you can't pay. I don't know the exact salary, but somewhere near $30 million. No. We buy Sue. Bye. Thank you for your services. You were great. You kind of changed your image. You weren't, the hard-head bad boy that a lot of people know. I think you shaped your image up and made a positive look for yourself within the NFL going forward. But we appreciate your services and everything that you did for the franchise. But bye-bye. He was still a dominant player, still one of the, if not one of the top 5 dominant players in the NFL, but it's not worth $30 million, guys. It's just not. And we got a great, I'm not even going to say good, we got a great replacement. He's not Ndamukong Suh, but we have a great replacement that now can still clog up the middle. He's and to be quite fair, I mean, it's not like Suh was making spectacular plays. He was dominant, but it wasn't like he was just throwing people to the side and making these huge impact tackles. And I'll be honest with you, another thing that I was kind of disappointed in Suh a lot. As a veteran, as the defensive veteran, one of the leaders on the team, how many times did we look up and he had a false start? Offsides, not false start, offsides. How many times did we look up in the biggest moments of the game and the quarterback got Suh? Didn't get anybody else, but he got Suh. Big moments of the game, Dolphins, tie ball game, 3rd down and 4. Suh. Oh my gosh. And Ndamukong Suh, this is what $30 million get us? I mean, it frustrated me. I'm not talking about one game. I'm not talking about 2, 3. This happened all the time. Again, it's not taking away from his dominance as a player. But if anybody can be critical, we should be able to. Real Miami Dolphin fans. So at the end of the day, we got a really good replacement. Cameron Wake, I continue to say this. I would be disappointed if Cameron Wake doesn't retire a Miami Dolphin just like Jason Witten did with the Cowboys, because this man, Cameron Wake, has given his all to our franchise. And not only does he give his all to our franchise, he's not even slowing down. He's not even slowing down. He should in his career. I'm excited to see him as he comes closer and closer to Jason Taylor's sack record. He should. I want to see him pass that record and go down in the Hall of Fame in his career with Miami. Almost every year he still makes the Pro Bowl. We're talking about a player who we found out of the CFL. They say he wasn't good enough for the NFL, so he went and played for the CFL. And the Miami Dolphins went to the CFL to tell him, come on home. And we brought him in, and he has been a Pro Bowler almost every single year since, giving his all. And I believe he almost had about 10 sacks last year and missed like 6 games or something like that. So it probably would have been the sack leader in the NFL if he didn't miss that many, because you go to the Pro Bowl with like 10 sacks now. That's amazing in a season. So Cameron Wake, thank you for all you do for our franchise. Continue to lead by example, and he is the ultimate role model. I mean, I don't think you have a blemish on Cameron Wake. He does things in the community. He's very vocal. He speaks up for the team. He's a positive person. He just seems like a great person, great role model. I commend you, Cameron Wake. Keep doing what you're doing. I know there's a lot of people that look up to you, especially our youth, and I commend you for that. Congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing and keep fighting for us. We're going to stick behind you, good or bad. And thank God it's always been good. But I'm excited about the defensive line because we have now, this is a little worry that we have too many defensive linemen. I think we're going into camp with like 7 or something like that. We have a lot. Don't get me wrong, that's depth. But sometimes when you go into a season with 7 or 8 defensive linemen, eight offensive linemen, then you have 8 wide receivers on the roster. A coach always has to make the tough decisions with 2 or 3 players in that 4th preseason game. Who are we cutting? Because it's scary. Defensive line, you want depth. You want to be able to rush them in and out just in case they get tired. Offensive line, our history. We got to have it. We got to have it. We have to have offensive linemen on deck. We have more injuries and problems than anybody, so I wouldn't even take that chance. Receivers, that's probably where they're going to run thin. They probably will run about 5 or 6 receivers this year, but they'll all be talented. They'll all have the skill level above a 7.5. But defensive line, so they have some decisions to make, but we have a solid line, man. We really do. Really good players that can get up and at it, and some run stoppers as well. And outside of Cameron Wake, it's not like they're superstar players or anything like that, but they've been good, great, reliable players in the NFL that have made some noise. Not Pro Bowl noise, but we don't need Pro Bowl noise. We need solid noise. Cornerbacks, we always interchange that position. I'm not going to knock our cornerbacks. I know sometimes we have a lot of injuries at the position, then we put in players, and they do well, But be quite honest, I was telling you earlier, I'm excited about our safety situation, but we also have to figure out how we can upgrade, to some solidify. Once again, I'm not looking for great. When I say great, I'm not looking for Pro Bowl, but I am looking for good to great cornerbacks. Because in this league, you have to be able to cover now. You have to be able to drape yourself on these receivers, and it's getting harder and harder. So linebacker and cornerback, that's our team's concerns. That's it. To me, that's our real concerns. So going into training camp, our coaches have a lot of work to do, a lot of questions to be answered. And don't get me wrong, every year I hear that, this person's looking good, that person's looking great. But to be honest with you, anytime you have a situation where a coach is saying this player is going to start because they earned it, that's not always a great thing. When you don't know who that guy's going to be and they earned it, I know that sounds a little crazy, but think about it. We know Ryan Tannehill is going to be the quarterback. We know that Frank Gore is pretty much going to start with King and Drake sharing the ball. We know Kenny Stills is going to be the number 1 receiver, and Devontae Parker is going to be opposite in Amendola. We know. We know those two, Rashid Jones and our newest rookie, first-round draft pick, is going to start. We know. But when you're at linebacker and corner, we don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. We know Kiko Alonso is going to be on the outside left linebacker. We know that what I like to call a rookie is going to be at middle linebacker. He missed all of last season with the injuries. So that's exciting too, coming back fresh, got to be around the team a whole season, understand the NFL, and now come in as a second-year rookie. That's going to be refreshing because, hey, he may break out. He was a top pick last year. Just never got to play last year. So that's going to be exciting. But we don't know who's going to be at Mike. And if you don't know what Mike is, it's that right. It's the right side of the linebacking core. The guy who's a lot of times the leader. So we don't know. That's a little scary. Somebody's going to earn it. And I don't like when you earn it. I like when you earn it because you worked hard for it. But that's one of those things we don't have anyone that we can say they're going to be in that position. So they got to earn it. So it's a toss-up. We don't know what to expect. But who knows? They may earn it, and we say, yes, I'm glad they earned it because they have also played so well that now we know that they're going to be there. But, let's be fair right now. We don't know. So I think going into this season, we all need to keep our eyes out on our linebacking core and our cornerbacks because for years and years and years, it's always been the issue. But I think our team has went into a lot of seasons with so many holes that we've been addressing them slowly but surely. And now we have an opportunity to lock down a lot of those positions and just worry about those two now. But you know, one thing I'm noticing the Dolphins are good at, they're starting to build a lot of young assets, even the receiving core. As the year goes on, I wouldn't be surprised if we're doing so well that we don't, take one or two of those receivers and trade them for another asset like a linebacker or a cornerback, because we may have that flexibility to move someone because we haven't had any injuries and we're doing well. But we'll see. The same thing happened with Jay Ajayi. We already knew what we had in Kenyon Drake. We knew that we had a good running back in Kenyon Drake. It wasn't that much of a fall off. I know some people may argue that, but it really isn't. And to be fair with you as well, Jay Ajayi is starting to look like he's injury prone as well. Not only that, Jay Ajayi takes a lot of bruises, and I know a lot of people love running backs that put themselves first and their body first. But I mean, you've seen him run. He can care less if he gets a concussion. And that's something that you do have to be concerned about long term, because you can risk it all for your team, but you're not doing the team any good if you're risking your career, and you're not going to be available anyway. So I'll always go down as saying I believe that was a great trade of getting rid of Jai. I know people say, yeah, but look what we got for him. You have to understand your values in the draft. Just imagine, you know, Bill Belichick getting Tom Brady in the what was it, sixth or seventh round or something like that, getting him so late. That could have been a Jay Ajayi trade, and everybody says, "Oh my gosh, why would you do that for a seventh round pick?" And look what you got out of it. You got to go young. You got to look for the newest talent. We know that NFL life these days is nothing more than 4 years. A lot of people don't know that. NFL life, if you make it to the NFL, the life expectancy may be less than 4 years in the league. So you have to go after the young players. But I'm excited, guys. Dolphin Nation, get up and get ready. We have to lead the way. We have to show everybody that we are ready for the largest stage in the Super Bowl. Our fan base has to wake up. We have to get up and at it. We have the greatest fan base in the world. I don't care what no one else says. The only problem is a lot of us are asleep because of all the ups and downs that we've been through in recent years. It is time to wake up because the future is now and the future is bright. This is TD Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, subscribe on the video, turn your notifications on so that you'll get all the videos that I put up. And let your friends and family members know about the channel, because like I say every video, I love sports. I love talking sports. This is what I love to do. So tune in to the next rendition, I would say, of TD Sports Talk. I'll be back at you guys. Peace.